I imagine you've clicked on this video because you are possibly in a credit card trap. Just to be clear, what I define as a credit card trap is being stuck living on your credit card, possibly and likely to pay your expenses. Now, this video will hopefully give you 6 things to think about and help you get out of the credit card trap. A lot of my clients that come to me are in this position and are ridiculously embarrassed, ashamed, all of that stuff. And it's not necessary because actually statistics finds that in the last 2 years, more people have gone into debt than ever before, including those who've never been in debt before. So it's really common, but there are ways out of it. And hopefully this video you find really helpful. Also, I don't need to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I am doing this video slightly differently where I'm allowing it to be a bit more free flowing and I'm using my notes here. So if you see me looking down, it's purely to make sure I say things in the right order. Before we start, I just want to add, if you are in a credit card trap and living on your credit card, please do not be ashamed. Like I said, lots of people are in the situation that you're in, and lots of people, possibly like yourself, are not aware of even how you got there and how to get out. And, I could sit here and talk about all the possible reasons, whether that's because you didn't understand what a credit card meant, including things such as paying the minimum and how that is not a good thing, or not having oversight as to how much money you spend every month. That in itself is a real big factor when it comes to getting stuck in a credit card trap. Anyway, let's go. Let's start going through those 6 areas that you should think about in this particular order I suggest to help you get out of the credit card trap. Okay, the first one, I don't even want to use the word, but it is budget. Sure, yeah. But more importantly, forget that word. It is about you really being clear as to how much money you spend every month. Okay, so we've got the, how much it costs to pay for where I live, the rent, the mortgage, energy bills, all of that good stuff, sure. But also, and more importantly, is for you to have the lifestyle that you have, for you to live your life, how much does that cost for you uniquely? And the only way that you can really get an accurate picture, in my opinion, is by looking back at your past spending. And traditionally, this requires an Excel spreadsheet, which I'm all for. But there are some really amazing apps that allow you to do this, by pressing a couple of buttons on your phone. One that I'll name here is the Snoop app. And I think it's great because it actually picks up data for the last few months and incorporates that as well. So even if you're starting today, you can get the information you need. Now, the Snoop app will basically show you how much you spend in all different categories that you can rename, change, recategorize. And it allows you to get really clear about, okay, how much am I spending on eating out? How much am I spending on groceries? Somebody I worked with just the other day, one of my clients, thought her budget was £200 for groceries every month. But when she looked into her Snoop app, she saw it was $450. But it's just really interesting that on her budget, so the Excel worksheet we had created previously had £200. And that, as you can imagine, would significantly contribute to her overspending every single month, where she has to go and spend now on her credit card to be able to pay her basic costs. I hope that makes sense. So the number 1 tip is to create a budget. More importantly, get really clear about how much it costs for you to have the life you have. Okay, let me look at point number 2 because I've forgotten already. Balance transfer. I'm still quite surprised that so many people don't know about this. And if you don't know about it, you do now. A balance transfer credit card is basically a credit card that allows you to transfer your debt on a previous credit card onto this new credit card. Now, why it's amazing is because they are often 0% credit cards, which means if you have a credit card at the moment that is bearing interest, you can move that balance onto a new credit card that you have maybe 1, 2, or 3 years to pay off at no interest. It's a complete no-brainer for me. So you would literally apply for this new credit card and give the information or the details to transfer to clear the old credit card. I'm going to do a different video specifically talking about how to do that and what you should pay attention to and check before, such as an eligibility checker. Takes me a minute to get that word out. But that's where you do a soft check on yourself to see that you'll be approved before you go ahead with the balance transfer. But a balance transfer credit card is absolutely awesome. It does so many things. Straight away, it reduces how much you're paying on your debts every month because there's no interest. Then number 2, it also allows you to reduce your amount, which then means you can have more money available every single month to pay for other things. Or I'm not going to go into that into too much detail now, but I'm sure you can see the benefits of a balance transfer credit card. So this is about the strategy in which you take to clear your debts. Now, earlier I mentioned a budget. Also, what I do with people when I work with them one-on-one, like I literally roll up my sleeves, we create a full financial plan. So we break down their numbers over a period of 12 months, 24 months, whatever that may be, and we forecast what life will look like in line with the goals that we're trying to achieve. So say we want to buy a house, buy a car, go on a certain number of holidays every year. We plan that into our financial plan. Now, this point here is about the strategy you use to clear your debts. Now, there are two main ones that we talk about. One's called Avalanche and one's called Snowball. The difference is with one, you focus on the highest interest rate bearing debt. So you look at your debts and you see, okay, this one has the highest interest rate. I'm going to focus all efforts on clearing that first. And you pay the minimum on the other ones. The other method is where it's all about building momentum. So again, you order your debts, but this time in order of balance. And you focus on clearing the smallest debt balance first. So say you have a debt for £200 and another for £5,000. You focus efforts on clearing the £200 first. And then you pay the minimum on the others, so you're not doing anything wrong. So different strategies you can take in terms of clearing your debts. And again, that all goes into your financial plan, so you know exactly when you will be debt-free, which is really exciting. Okay, next point. I have 3 more points. This one's about consolidation. More generally, consolidation of your debts is where you bring all your debts together to a personal loan and you only pay off your personal loan. This means you no longer have the other debts. And usually, ultimately, you're paying less in interest. So it's not the same as a balance transfer credit card where you are paying no interest. Here you still are, but it's got its benefits. It's easier to manage because it's just one payment. And ultimately, ideally, the interest rate is lower. Now, this, of course, is something to consider if you are slightly overwhelmed at the thought of still managing all those different debts and you'd like help just bringing everything together and just paying one amount. Something to consider. 2 more points. I remember the next one is about increasing your income. Now, I hesitated as to whether to put this in here because for you to be in a credit card trap, from my opinion, that's usually down to behaviours and habits and beliefs and thoughts. Less so down to the fact that you don't have enough money. Sure, it contributes and having more money will help you with where you are today, but historically, the reasons that got you here is unlikely to be because you don't have enough income. This tip, of course, is about the benefits of increasing your income to help you clear your debts. Ideally, first, you'd work to understand how and why you got here and go about making whatever changes you need to make so you don't get here again. After you've done that piece, then of course, let's get aggressive and bring in more money. Now, again, I've done this with a few of my clients and there are so many ways to generate a second income which don't require any technical skills, don't require you to be an entrepreneur, just simple things you can set up to just bring in some extra change every month. Whether that be popping your name somewhere and offering your service as a tutor, or maybe you can play the guitar or the piano and you could offer online lessons. Or maybe you could simply sell things that you don't need around the house on eBay or Gumtree. There are so many ways to bring in extra income. And if you tap into that, again, you will clear your debt quicker, have more money left at the end of the month, and ultimately be winning. Now, the final tip that I do remember is if you are genuinely really struggling and it's making you stressed, etc., seek debt help. I'm going to pop some links below for some organizations you can reach out to speak to somebody confidentially about your debt issues. Alternatively, of course, go and talk to a finance coach like myself, or there are many others out there that can hold your hand and help you build the plans you need to reduce your debts and ultimately save for what you want and feel less stressed and get out of the credit card trap. Now, I hope you found that useful. I mentioned a few things in this video that I didn't go into depth and detail about today, but if there's anything you heard and you'd love more information about it, please do let me know in the comments below. I'm here actively trying to share videos that really help you and, help solve the problems you're dealing with today. So please don't hesitate to pop some ideas below and give me some food for thought so I can go away and create those videos for you. Until next time, take care.